So Ramayana teaches many leadership values. I think we can have full day sessions on what all we can learn, the management and leadership lessons that we can learn from the Ramayana, only the Ramayana itself. So I'm sure a lot of you would know the basic story, so I'm not going into it. But for those who may not, it's the journey of Ram, who was the prince of Ayodhya and who was married to Sita, the princess of Mithila, which is now in Nepal and the Bihar border. And she was abducted by the king of Lanka, who was Ravan. And this led to him traversing the length of the country. Imagine a prince from Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh crossing the entire country on foot through forests, through dense jungles of the middle, of the central and the southern part of the country to reach Rameshwaram, and then building a bridge over water, over the ocean, to retrieve his wife. I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned, but we'll just go through what I have presented here on the slides. First and foremost, Ram's father Dashrath had given two boons to his favorite wife Kaikeyi when Kaikeyi had saved him at time of a war. Kaikeyi had saved Dashrath's life, and that's why Dashrath had given her two boons, which Kaikeyi decided to encash whenever she really required them. And when she did, it created mayhem. So as a leader, we cannot behave like Dashrath, and we cannot let emotions rule our decisions. Because whatever boon or whatever benediction you can give to your team, it cannot result in chaos. It cannot result in destruction of the whole setup. Ram was the clear favorite of the masses. Ram was chronologically the eldest son, so he was legally the heir to the kingdom. And he would have been perfect for Ayodhya. But Ayodhya was deprived of his leadership for 14 years because of a boon which was given out of emotion by his father, who was the previous leader. That's a very important lesson. We have to be objective, and we should not let our emotions rule the decisions that we make in the organization. A lot of things to learn from Ram. And for me, the biggest learning is, the accepting the unfair circumstances that are thrust upon you and that you do not have any control upon. Lakshman was angry when he heard of the boon that Dashrath had given to Kaikeyi, or the boon that Kaikeyi had asked of Dashrath. And Lakshman wanted to rebel. He said that this is unfair and we will rebel against our father. Imagine, in those times when it was unheard of, Lakshman was ready to do that. But Ram decided, no, this is a boon given by my father and I have to follow the rules laid down by him. Because as Suryavanshis, whatever promises we make have to be fulfilled. So he very gracefully accepted the unfair circumstances. And why I'm mentioning it more in detail is because today we find all of us locked inside our homes for most of the time, right? I realize that you guys have started coming to work, but in Bombay things are really bad. And in many other cities of India as well, in many parts of the world, people are still locked inside their homes. And things are really, really bad. And all of us feel at some point of time that this is unfair and this is unjust, and why should we be subjected to this? And it's okay to crib, it's okay to cry sometimes, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. But what we cannot let it do is completely wash away our responsibilities. We have to carry on with our lives because this will end sometime or later. And that is a very important learning we have from Ram, who shows that whatever the circumstances that are thrust upon you, you have to take them in your stride and behave accordingly. And of course, he utilized those for personal growth as well as helping others. He killed so many demons in the jungle. He, even before he went into exile, he helped Vishwamitra get rid of Tarka. When he went into the exile with Sita and Lakshman, he killed Khar and Dushan, and in a single battle, he destroyed 14,000 demons who were troubling the sadhus living in the forests. And of course, everybody knows he killed Ravan at the end. So he utilized the opportunity for his own personal growth, becoming a better individual, becoming a better leader, and also fulfilling others' purposes. He helps Sugriv achieve his purpose. So a lot of things happened along the way. Lakshman, as I mentioned, was probably the most brash and perhaps the most confident person you would find in the Ramayana, because he was ready to take on his own father for the sake of justice. And a lot of people don't realize that when Sita was abducted, Ram completely broke down. In the Valmiki Ramayana, in the TV serials, they always show Ram is completely devoid of emotion and he behaves like in a very Spartan manner, very stoic fashion. But in the actual Valmiki Ramayana, Ram breaks down when Sita is abducted and he cries and he's shouting in anger. And that's when Lakshman supports him and he says that, listen, you have to now find Sita. You can't let emotions override you now. So Lakshman is the one who gave him confidence throughout the journey. Lakshman is the one who was himself confident of handling any situation that comes along. So as a leader, we have to be confident and we have to boost others' confidence in our people in our team who might be jittery about a new project, who might not be very well prepared for a project. You give them confidence and you tell them, listen, just prepare for it and you can do it. Parshuram, he was the, if some of you remember, when Ram broke the bow of Shiva at the time of Sita Swayamvar, Parshuram is the guy who came there. He's the previous avatar, the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu. And when Parshuram confronts Ram for destroying Shiva's bow, because Shiva was Parshuram's guru. So when Parshuram confronts Ram, Ram tells him that, listen, whatever, that was the gist of what he says. Of course, he talks very politely. And he conveys to Parshuram that whatever your purpose was on this earth is over. Now it's time for the next generation to take over. So that's a very important lesson again. We see a lot of leaders not moving out of the way of the younger generation. When it's time to move on, we have to decide. You see that in cricket, right? How Sachin Tendulkar left, how MS Dhoni resigned. So you should know what is the right time to leave and give way to the next generation. As Vishwamitra, Vishwamitra was the rishi who took help from Ram and Lakshman to destroy the demons like Tarka and Marich and Subahu who were troubling him. So Vishwamitra did not just do that. He gave them the knowledge of the divine weapons that Ram and Lakshman used in their wars in the exile, in the 14 years of the exile. Vishwamitra was the one who took Ram and Lakshman to Mithila, where Sita Swayamvar was happening. Imagine if that had not happened, if Ram had not met Sita, the entire Ramayana would not have happened, right? So he was the catalyst for the entire story of Ramayana to happen. And that was one of the fascinating aspects why I took him as one of my heroes in the first book that I wrote, which is on Vishwamitra. So all these characters have a lot of depth and a lot of learning that they have to impart through their actions. And of course, Ravan. Who can forget Ravan, who's the leader of the Asuras, of the three lokas at that time? He was reigning the world. And all the human kings, the Devas, the Asuras, the Yakshas, Gandharvas, all the assorted tribes had accepted defeat in front of him. So he was the most mighty, most powerful person in the universe at that time. But what does Ravan's life tell us? It's that personal greed should not overshadow the organization's need. He had everything going for him. Lanka was the most prosperous kingdom. His people ruled the world. His generals ruled the world. But because of personal lust and greed, he allowed all that to go to waste. Lanka was destroyed not once but twice. Once by Hanuman when he burnt it down, and later by Ram's troops, the Vanar Sena, when they attacked Lanka. Everything came to naught. Everything came to zero. Only because of one person's greed. And again, a lot of people try to portray Ravan as a hero, but I'm sorry, I don't really agree because I've read enough about him in the original text. Ravan was a serial rapist, for lack of a better word. Ravan had abducted a lot of women, thousands of women, before he actually laid hands on Sita. Ravan was a tyrant. He had killed a lot of people, killed a lot of kings. He had actually, Lanka was not his own kingdom. He had usurped Lanka from his own half brother Kuber. So there were a lot of mistakes that he made. Even though he was very knowledgeable, he knew the Vedas. He was the greatest devotee. He's called the greatest devotee of Shiva. He created the Shiv Tandav Stotra, etc., etc. All of that is useless. It's futile if you let your ambition or your greed overshadow all the good things. That's a very, very important lesson we learn from Ravan. Ramayana also teaches us about teamwork. As I mentioned, Sugriv could get back his kingdom from Vali, from which he was thrown out, only because of the help that Ram provided. And Ram could reach Lanka and destroy Lanka only because of the help that Vanar Sena provided. So this shows us the importance of alliances or mergers. At various times of an organization's lifetime or life cycle, you may have to give into alliances and mergers. And not just organizations, even teams. Sometimes you may have to combine forces, right, to achieve a common goal. There may be a lot of projects that you have that you are a part of that have cross-functional teams. So the importance of having cross-functional teams or people with different skill sets is very, very apparent from the way Sugriv and Ram collaborated to help each other. Jamvant was the bear, the leader of the bears, who helped Hanuman at the time of when they were at Rameshwaram and they were figuring out how to reach Lanka. That's when Hanuman left. Everyone knows that Hanuman jumped across the ocean, the 100 yojan ki duri. He crossed in a single jump and he reached Lanka. But a lot of people don't realize that Hanuman did not know that he had this strength. Hanuman was a very mischievous kid. And as a child, he was cursed by the rishis in the forest that since he was so disruptive, he would forget all the powers that he had. And if you remember the story of him jumping and leaping to eat the sun, thinking of it to be a mango. So he was quite destructive and quite naughty as a kid. And the rishis had cursed him that he would forget all his powers until someone reminded him. So when they were stumped as to what to do, it was a bottleneck for them. What do we do? How do we reach Lanka? And that's when Jamvant reminds Hanuman that you have the power to do it. You can do this and you've just merely forgotten it. Trust in yourself and leap. Take the leap of faith. That was Jamvant who informed Hanuman. So as Jamvant shows, the members of the team have to build each other's confidence and have to help each other realize their true potential. And as a leader, it is all the more important for you to do it. Hanuman, as I said, he was very strong, but he never used his strength for his own benefit. Unlike Ravan, Ravan used all the boons that he had received, all the power that he had to subjugate the world. Hanuman was probably more powerful than Ravan. But do you ever find a story where Hanuman is tormenting anyone or subjugating anyone to his will? Hanuman always used his strength for the benefit of mankind, for the benefit of his teammates, the Vanars. So that is what, as team members, we are supposed to do. Sita has a lot of teachings, but one of the most important that I feel is that impatience in a team can ruin everything. When she was impatient at the time of her abduction, when Lakshman, when Marich came as a golden deer, Swarn Mrig incident, and Lakshman was telling her that Ram cannot be harmed. I know, I have seen him in action at Vishwamitra's hermitage where he destroyed Tadka and Subahu. So I know he can handle it. But Sita was adamant, no, you have to go to your brother's help. Because she was impatient, she was abducted. Because she was impatient to send away the only protection she had, Because she was impatient, she crossed the Lakshman Rekha and she came out of the security zone. She was abducted. But at the same time, when she was in Lanka for a year, she showed a lot of patience. She believed in Ram. She believed that he would come and rescue her. She did not give up her life. She did not give in to Ravan's demands. She had confidence in her team. She knew they would come and rescue her. And when Hanuman actually meets Sita in Lanka and he offers to take her back to the mainland on his own back, Sita refuses. She says, "No, this is the job of Ram. He's my husband and he has to come and rescue me. I'll be patient. I have been here for a long time, but I'll have some more patience and let things happen the right way." So the importance of patience. Sometimes, doing things in a hurry can actually spoil a lot of work which has already been done. And at the same time, if you have enough patience, a lot of things can be accomplished with time. Bharat, of course, everybody knows he was the most loyal brother. He did not sit on the throne even though his mother had secured it through her boons, and he was not opportunistic. So, as team members, we should not take credit for someone else's work. We should help others get the same recognition, the recognition that they deserve, and just as we would like it for ourselves. So, Bharat is the prime example of loyalty in a team. Manthara, I find her character very fascinating because she involved in a lot of gossip, rumor mongering, and we see a lot of people, unfortunately, in all sorts of organizations, whether it's private or public or even smaller enterprises. You see a lot of such characters, right, who do backbiting and office politics. So the lesson to be learned from Manthara is that all this will just take you to a certain extent. It helped Manthara bring into the good graces of Kaikeyi, but as soon as Bharat returned, Shatrughan actually threw her out. They literally dragged her out of the palace and they threw her out. So she did not have a very happy ending, right? So office politics can only take you to a certain level. Of course, we know we have all seen leaders who like having yes men around them, but that can not help you in the long run because that leader might change, right? So whoever you are depending on might not always be there in the organization. People whom you are favoring because of their attitude of adulation, they are just serving their own purpose. So it's better to judge them on their merit rather than on how well they complement you, right? Vibhishan teaches us another very important lesson: stand up for what is right. And this is very important in terms of parameters like whistleblowing. A lot of companies have started putting in place procedures or safeguards to help people come out and tell if there's something wrong which is happening in the company or the organization. And Vibhishan teaches us just that. Even if you have to stand up against your own family or against your own team, if there is something which is not right, you have to stand up because ultimately truth will come out and you cannot hide it forever. And then if Vibhishan had not come out of Lanka and helped Ram, he would also have been destroyed, right? He would also have been killed. Every single member of Ravan's family was killed. So Vibhishan would have been one of them. So he found out the right time to get out of a messy situation. And that is what, as leaders and as team members, we also ought to do if we see something wrong happening in the organization. Meghnad, again, he was also called Indrajit because he was the one who defeated Indra, not Ravan. Okay, Indra was actually able to defeat Ravan. So a lot of people don't know that. But in Valmiki Ramayana, Indra and the gods were able to defeat Ravan and his demons. It was only Indrajit, Meghnad, who actually took help of stealth. He hid himself, he became invisible, and that's how he attacked Indra. So, but he got a boon from Brahma that he could only be killed if he left any prayer to the goddess in between. And that is exactly what happened at the time of the Ramayana battle when Lakshman attacked Indrajit while he was praying to the goddess and did not let him complete his prayers, because had he done that, he would have become immortal. So the lesson to be learned is that you have to prepare well in advance. Indrajit or Meghnad waited for the war to come to them. He waited for all the other leaders like Kumbhakarna and other senior generals, Prahast and Akampan and everybody to die, and then he started his prayers. Why wait till the end? If you know that the enemy is strong, you should have done the preparation quite well in advance.